Mm.
All right, welcome to the June 30th, 2025 Wallet Interop SIG, the last of the first 6 months of this year. Today, we're delighted to have Lukas Hahn here for a presentation on one of the many projects he's involved with here. Lukas's name comes up all over the place. This one, it will be about the SD JWT, Selective Disclosure JWT JS library. So we'll get to that in a moment. We are recording this. It'll be posted here and on YouTube, on the agenda page and on YouTube. At the time, sort of later in the day. I'm not sure when Sean will be available to do the YouTube part since he is in Geneva and rushing to get that conference going for tomorrow. Reminder, this is a Linux Foundation Europe meeting and an Open Wallet Foundation meeting. That means the antitrust policy of LF Europe is in effect, as is the Open Wallet Foundation Code of Conduct. Please follow both of those. Few announcements to make, and then I'll open the floor for anyone else who has any. The ones I have is starting tomorrow. The Global Digital Collaboration Conference begins in Geneva. There is tons of stuff going on there. I understand there's more than 1,500 people gathering and should be quite an event. We'll have a recap. Sean is going to do a recap and we'll probably bring some folks in 2 weeks on this SIG at this time to get a recap of what happened. So we'll hear about that in a couple of weeks for those not able to make it. There is no wallet interoperability SIG meeting next week, so July 7th for US holiday / Geneva conference, just because we're not meeting next week. And if you do want to present to this group, on the agenda page, there is a sign-up sheet, so you're welcome to do that. With that, anyone else have any want to introduce themselves or have any announcements to make? Grab the mic. All right. Project updates. I'll start with Akapai. Akapai release 131 will be out this week. We've finished off a few release candidates. We do want to do final testing on the last release candidate that went out Thursday of last week. We will have the final release for 131 out this week. That will probably become a long-term support release. We'll see how the community decides. As well, we're expecting PRs anytime on to Akapai for the canon work that the VerID folks have done, which enables the use of a normal database, a regular database to be used rather than all storage being in Ascar. So Ascar holds the keys and the key management, but the rest of the data around Akapai goes into a normal database. So that's the latest on Akapai. We'll also have a couple of long-term support releases coming out shortly. Any other announcements about other projects or updates on other projects people want to mention? All right. Well, with that, I will turn it over to you, Lucas. I will stop sharing and hand it over to you to take over.
Yeah, thank you.
Looks good. We can see your screen.
Okay. Okay. Great. Hello, everyone. I'm Lukas Han, and today I'd like to talk about JWT JS, which is a growth project from Open Water Foundation. Yeah, let me briefly introduce myself a little bit. I'm a software engineer at Hope with over 2 years of experience. And also, I'm an Open Water Foundation project maintainer for JWT JS and newly launched the TRS Trust Resolving System. And my goal is making digital identity simple for everyone. Yeah, that's the reason why I'm keep contributing these open source communities and Open Water Foundations. Yeah, so what exactly is JWT JS? So it's a TypeScript reference implementation that covers these three main specifications: selective disclosure JWT, currently draft 12 22, and SDJWT JS draft 9, and token status list draft 11. Before diving deeper, let me explain SDJWT a little bit. As you can see in this diagram on the left, SDJWT allows a selective disclosure of claims instead of revealing all the information in a JWT. User can choose which specific claims to disclose. The structure include an issuer assigned JWT and disclosures and key binding JWT with the tilde character as a delimiter so that user can put or pull the disclosures to decide which information to disclose. The right image is a sample for the payload of the SDJWT. So there is two specific properties. One is underbar SD, which is array of hash values of disclosures. And the other one is underbar SD algorithm, which is indicating the hash algorithm that's using to digest the disclosure. Yeah, so our primary goal is to provide the developer-friendly SD library for JavaScript and TypeScript that is simple and intuitive to use as existing JWT libraries, just like JOSE or JSON Web Token. Our first approach is flexibility. So we allow our developers to bring their own crypto implementation. You can use your preferred crypto library and configure SDJWT with your custom signing, verifying, and hashing functions that gives developers full control over their cryptographic choices. So this is the sample code for injecting the signer and verifier and hash algorithm into SDJWT instance so that it's working with the custom cryptographic mechanism. We've also designed the library with the modularity. So instead of the monolithic package, we've split the functions, features into focused modules, such as the core features for SDJWT/core, and present and decode features for each SDJWT/present and SDJWT/decode. And we also provide the sample implementation for a crypto and hash so that our users could use our library really easy and convenient. And I'm happy to share this screen. So I've maintained this project over 1 year. We've reached over 3.6 million total downloads. As you can see the graph, the adoption has been steadily grow. Yeah. And also we've got some experimental project more than just a specification. So we are currently working on SDJWT with JDAS, digital signatures, and SDJWT BCLD that using JSON LD with inside of the SD format. The specification is introduced in OpenID per PP. So we are currently working on these kinds of features to support. And in the future, hopefully we implement ZKP, a feature for SD uh, to like advanced feature. And we also made the online debugger. It's sdjot.co. Uh, yeah, as you can see, sdjot debugger, online debugger is working on the website. It is not communicating with server. Uh, we have the three features on the debugger. With one is decode, uh, issue, and present. So in the decode feature, you can put the encoded SD jot in the left section, and then the debugger automatically decode and calculate the disclosures and the payload to get a claims on the right section. And also you can see the key binding jot if the SD jot has the key binding jot. Yeah, this is the decoding feature and an issue feature. You can set the claim and disclosure frame to make encoded SD jot. Disclosure frame is a specific data structure that indicate which claim should be selectively disclosed or not. So in this example, the first name, last name, and SSN, social security number is marked as a claim that the user can selectively disclose. And about the present feature, you can put the encoded SD jot on the left section, and you can also put the presentation frame to select which claim to be disclosed. And you can also put the payload of the key binding jot here. And then the debugger combine the data into the presented SD jot on the right section. Yeah. This is pretty much everything for the debugger, online debugger. Uh, and finally, I'd like to ask for help from community. I'm looking for the additional use cases where about SD jot, such as ID token for OpenID Connect or API authorization, like bearer token. And secondly, feedback from users. I'm actively looking for to getting feedback from our users about our libraries and online debugger as well. As you can see earlier, that online debugger uh, has many features, but I think it's a little bit inconvenience to use. So yeah, if you guys have any feedback, and feel free to share their own to me or our Discord to make it better. Yeah, any feedback is welcome. Yeah. Yeah, and that is pretty much everything. Thank you for your attention, guys. I'm happy to answer any question about our project, if anyone has the questions. Yep.
Um, yeah, could I just ask? I really like the fact that you can select your crypto in terms of what you want to use.
Mm-hmm.
Could that be configurable dynamically for different transactions? We work on a cross ecosystem basis where certain ecosystems might require different crypto.
Mm-hmm.
So could that be configured as a variable as a configuration so it could pick up and use different crypto for different ecosystems?
Yeah. Yeah, good question. Thank you for asking. Yeah, you can definitely change the crypto implementation during your logic. So
Right.
you can always reconfigure those kinds of, these kinds of properties inside of SDJOT instance. So
Yeah.
if you can detect some of the circumstances, you can dynamically change the signer or verifier,
Yeah.
yeah, as you want.
Um, bunch of things. That was awesome. Very interesting. I thought the online debugger is great.
Thank you.
We've, I'm just sitting there looking, thinking, oh man, we should have had something like that years ago. Looks really good. So not sure about how to make it better, but it looks good to me. A couple of things. One of the things that I was wondering about when I prepared for this was what do you guys do with this library? What beyond making the library, what are your deployments like? What are you building where you're embedding this?
Ah, so in Hope we are using SD as a uh the the we are using it in a wallet SDK.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a Credo, but we are using it like much simpler way. So we are basically using this library as the verify of credential things to follow the ARF from European architecture.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're building out your own ecosystem. Are you able to say anything about deployments and where it's getting used, or is that
Ah, so Credo is,
proprietary?
yeah, thank you. Credo is using our library, uh, and Sephiron SDK is also using our library, and
Okay.
the European Wallet Consortium, the large scale pilot, also using our library for testing environment on their like testing server. I guess those are our major user of our libraries.
Right.
Hmm.
So hence you getting to your 3.6 million downloads. You got those libraries using it, and then you've got a whole bunch of deployments that are using those, building
Right.
up. Yeah, got it. Okay. Um, one of the other it mentions a reference implementation, but it really is and I think of that term sometimes as being here's how you do it and showing the way for others to build it. But yours is really a production ready, robust implementation. It's beyond just here's how you do it, but this is like the best, or a very high quality implementation of it, correct?
Yeah, right. Yeah, actually, uh, the specification is not done yet. So,
Yeah.
yeah, like
Okay.
this, every specification we are following is not done. So that's why I'm, technically saying reference implementation. But as you
Okay.
mentioned earlier, yeah, we are trying to make it like robust and like production ready. Our maintainers are really working hard to build that.
I'm not seeing other hands, so I'm going to ask another one that I was wondering about. I know token status list is there. Is that revocation status list type stuff, or what specifically is that?
Yeah, that's correct. It's for revocation.
Okay.
Issuer can use that as a indicator of the revocation of credential. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
That I've often seen as a completely separate implementation. So you've got it combined with the SDJOT. Is that because those are tightly tied together, the token status list and is tied to the SDJOT definition?
Not really. Just one of our maintainers are working on that to build the system libraries.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, but that token status list is a small part of the this ecosystem. So we decided to maintain within this library to maintain better.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the main reason
Excellent.
actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Hmm.
Jim had a question in the chat, roadmap and a release train. Have you got a definition there or where you are tracking what you're doing and what's next?
So basically, we are waiting to our specification is done. So once it's done, we are planning to release the 1.0 version of our library. Uh, so our maintainers are gathering feedback from users and trying to improve our interfaces uh, for that. And also in the same in the same time, we are trying to make these experimental features to be integrated into the SDJ libraries. Uh, yeah, to make it like adaptable feature for like real world use case.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a two-track approach.
Okay. All right. Other questions from others?
That's very good. Thank you.
Yeah, there's Jim's question.
Mhm.
What's so my ignorance, what's Jade's or JADES or however it's pronounced?
JDAS. It's a
JS.
yeah, it's a digital signature standard from Europe that I'm not really familiar with the European law, but yeah, I think it's the legally binding the digital signature for the European law.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right. That was awesome. Any other questions for Lucas? All right. Well, thank you very much. That was awesome.
Thank you.
And you've got like three other libraries I know you're involved with, so we'll probably see you again. Thank you very much for joining on this one. A reminder as we wrap up, no media. Oh, actually, just to open the floor, is there any other topics anyone want to go over while we have some time? I'll just throw that out there for a moment.
Could I just chip in and say we're really trying to press ahead with in the architecture SIG, thinking about the checklist of things that take OWF projects to a roadmap for deployment. the checklist that people need. Romek's on the call, he's helping with that. You know, the DevOps build, how do we get access to the code, not just the Docker, that sort of thing. So we're just trying to work that out, because Sean is putting a proposal to the TAC about the architecture map, which I think will help extend the wallet and agent overview matrix that we've got to start building down into the projects, particularly for new projects, but also when we come up for annual review on other projects. And I'm at that point, and Romick is helping me, where I'm looking to start understanding a build process to build what I need using Open Wallet Foundation code base. So I think it's production ready. What's the journey to production ready? DevOps, security, build processes, and those sorts of things. And I know that might be terribly unpopular, but it is definitely needed if we want scale adoption of OWF open source projects. So that's with my co-chair architecture SIG hat on, really.
In a slightly related announcement, the TAC approved, and we recently created an OWF Helm charts repository, with the intention that any project is invited and encouraged to put a Helm chart together and add it to that repository. So it's a common repository across all of OWF, which is a typical model that Helm charts are used. And so anyone is welcome to. We've just, Akapai had one, so we're just completing the structure, the skeleton of how the Helm chart repo is put together, and guidelines on how to add yours and things like that. But the idea is the project sort of put together the Helm chart, and they approve their own Helm chart. It's not that we're going to approve their Helm chart, but we will approve the pull request, make sure it comes from the community, from the project, is a Helm chart, and things like that, but not the contents of it. So that's the plan for how that common repository gets managed and used.
I think that will be very useful if you're on Kubernetes, but obviously a lot of people are not.
Yeah. We do encourage, though, that as people build these out for their own purposes, it would be great to have those shared for others to use, and not ever having to do it on their own.
Yeah. That's the plan.
Yep.
Exactly. As easier a deployment as possible, and they will get higher adoption rates, and I think better engagement within the projects and across the community, where people can see, just as you were asking, where is it deployed?
Exactly.
What level is it towards production ready? And yes, we've got this double-edged sword of building production ready code on as yet unversioned or unfinal version standards, which is great fun. But managing change is going to be critical to success.
Excellent. Okay. Last word? Anyone? Excellent. Well, thank you so much again, Lukas, and thanks all for attending. And with that, we will wrap for the week. Reminder, we're off next week, and in 2 weeks, we'll hear what everyone in Geneva is up to tomorrow and the next day. Take care.
Take care. Cheers.
Yeah, thank
See
you,
folks.
guys.